So we are talking about classification of kinematic pair. The second type of classification is based on nature of contact surface. Now the classification is based on the nature of contact surface. Earlier classification was based on the relative motion, which we have already seen. Now based on the contact surface nature, it is classified as lower pair and higher pair. Now what is lower pair and what is higher pair? Lower pair is when there is a surface contact. And higher pair is when there is a line or point contact. Line or point contact is higher pair. Now see, this is slightly confusing. Line and point, they are very small compared to surface. Surface is larger, line and point, they are smaller. But then still it is written like this. The higher size, also surface is much higher than line and point. But then still surface contact is called as a lower pair. And line and point contact, if it is there, it is called as a higher pair. So the examples, if you take the lower pair example is the pin joint what we have already drawn earlier. So cylindrical pair, I am drawing the cylindrical pair again. So this we have already drawn. It is lower pair also because this entire surface, the outer surface of the pin, see this outer surface of the pin, which is a surface, which is in contact, so it is a lower pair. Okay. The higher pair, line or point contact. Now as you know, cam we have already seen earlier. Now I will draw the cam as a schematic diagram. Now see, this one is sufficient to understand what is a cam and follower. So if you see this cam and follower mechanism, then on the cam follower is rolling. And if you try to find out the type of contact, what will be the type of contact here? It will be line contact. These two parts, they are touching each other in the form of a line. So line contact means higher pair. This is higher pair. Even a knife edge follower also will be a this will also be a point contact, so it is a higher pair. If you take gear, now when two gear teeth are meshing, that time they are touching each other again in the form of a line. Even I will draw maybe another mechanism like this, which has got some very odd shape. So one movement and other movement, here there is a line contact. It has got thickness. So this is an example of higher pairs, this is example of lower pair. Even the slider and piston, we have drawn it earlier. This is a piston moving like this, inside is slider. So it has got surface which is in contact, so it is a lower pair, this is higher pair. Lower pair, higher pair. Examples based on nature of surface in contact. So jot this down. Now the third classification is based on nature of mechanical arrangement. Based on the nature of mechanical arrangement, so it is called as, one is closed and the other is open. Now in the case of a closed, you can write down elements or links held together mechanically. Links held together mechanically they are not held together mechanically. They are not held together mechanically here. So this example is maybe our spider and crank mechanism, which we have drawn many times. So you will see that all these parts, they are physically held. They will not go here and there. Okay, their motion is they are connected to each other so that their motion is very well constrained. Now, if I draw a cam and follower, now you see follower and cam, they are not tied together by any mechanism. That means you can just lift this up. You can lift this up, nobody will stop you from lifting this up. Okay, so the contact which is there, that contact you can break if you want. Now that is not going to happen here. Everything is properly connected. Okay, you will not be able to do something other than what it is supposed to do. So these are all the parts are mechanically held, and they are not mechanically held. This is an open kind of kinematic pair, and it is a closed type of kinematic pair. So write down. So now the third, kinematic chain. Kinematic chain. So write down. It is when kinematic links are connected together, such that relative motion of one point on one link with respect to other point on other link has definite relationship then such connection of links is called as kinematic chain. So see, I will draw kinematic chain like this. One, two, three, four. So there are 4 links connected, then they can move. Now suppose I connect like this. 1, 2 and 3. Can it be a chain? Now this will not form any movement. So this is not a chain. It is structure. It is a structure, it is called as. This is a chain because one can move, other can move, and it will have a specific motion. So that is a kinematic chain you can write down. Now the fourth is mechanism. What is a mechanism? Write down. When one member or when one link of a chain is fixed, when one link of a kinematic chain is fixed, it is called as a mechanism. When one link of a kinematic chain is fixed, it is called as a mechanism. So I will draw a kinematic chain like this again, and link number 1 we fix. We fix link number 1. Now this becomes a mechanism, and when you rotate one link, you will get certain kind of rotation in the other link. In fact, all the other links will have specific rotation. That is a mechanism. Next is degree of freedom. Degree of freedom. Degree of freedom. Write down. It is an ability of a body. It is an ability of a body to move in space. To move in space with translational or rotational motion. It is an ability of a body to move in space with translational or rotational motion. There are maximum 6 degrees of freedom possible. There are maximum 6 degrees of freedom possible. Or 6 degrees of freedom maximum are possible. We have written that. Now how there are 6 degrees of freedom possible? Let us see. Imagine that you take one ball, spherical ball which is there, and imagine that this ball is kept in space. So I am keeping the ball in space and it is floating in space, it is not touching anywhere. You have to imagine like this, because it will, in actual fact, it will not remain like this floating, it will fall down. But for the time being, imagine that it is just floating in air like this, over here. Now this ball can have what kind of different motions? One thing is, this ball can move along this line. Nobody can stop it from moving in this line. So you can say this is a movement along the x-axis. So ball can move in the translational manner, or the translational motion is possible along x-axis. Now can this ball move like this? Yes. So it will move along the y-axis also. So translational motion along x-axis possible, translational motion along y-axis also is possible. Now can this ball move like this? Can this ball move perpendicular to the board? It will move like this also. So it will have third translational motion also possible. So it has got 3 translational motions. Now somebody will say, what happens if it moves inclined like this? Now when it moves inclined, this inclined motion can be a combination of x and y. So any inclined motion is a combination of x and y. If it is like this, it is x and y and z. So now we are not taking any other type of translation, because all the types of translations, they are covered in x and y and z. That is like a coordinate system which we have learned. So for this object, it can have 3 types of translational motions possible. Now, can this ball rotate like this about this x-axis? About x-axis, can this ball rotate like this? It will rotate. So that is a rotary motion along x-axis. Now this y-axis, can this ball rotate like this? With the axis like this, y, can the ball rotate like about the y-axis? It can do that also. That means it has got rotary motion along the x-axis, rotary motion along the y-axis. Now z-axis is like this. So can the ball rotate like this? It can rotate like this also. That means it has got all the 3 types of rotary motions possible. So now this ball has got maximum 3 translational motions and 3 rotational motions. So that's why we have written that maximum 6 degrees of freedom are possible. So I'll write here DOF equal to 6, and the example is a ball in space. And then you can show that x, y, z, and then all the 3 rotary motions possible. So this makes it 3 translation plus 3 rotation. Now what is an example of DOF equal to 5? Example of DOF equal to 5. Example of DOF equal to 5. Now the same ball, let us keep it on table. I am keeping that ball on table now. Now a ball on table, just try to calculate, find out how many degrees of freedom now it has got. Can it move along x-axis? That means on the table it can move like this. Yes, because what we want is it should have contact with table. That is the first condition. So that contact with the table is existing all the time while it is performing motion along x-axis. So that motion is possible. Can it have motion along y-axis? Now if it has got motion along y-axis, then it will break the contact with the table. So now there is no contact with the table, that means you cannot perform motion along y-axis. Neither it can go down. So y direction motion is not there. Z, possible. Rotation about x, possible. Rotation about y, possible. Rotation about z, possible. That means all the three rotations are possible. I draw here like this. So three rotations are possible, but translations are only two. Translational motion is only two. So therefore the degree of freedom for this case is 5. There can be other examples also, but I am giving you right now this example. Then the DOF equal to 4. Example of DOF equal to 4. Now what we do is, we show the same ball in a V groove. Now you know what is a V groove. In the workshop, machine workshop, you have seen V blocks are there, like a V shape. So in the V groove, like this, you are placing a ball. Now what you can see? Now this ball will have still all the three rotary motions, but the translational motion will be only along the groove, along the length of the groove. It cannot perform the other two translational motions. So this will have three rotations and just one translation. Translational motion is just one, to make it 4 degrees of freedom. So 4 ways it can move basically. So degrees of freedom are 4 for this case. Now the DOF 3. Let's show you a DOF 3. What can be example of DOF 3? There is a cone here. Now you know what is a cone. So on the top of a cone, I am placing this ball. The ball is kept on top of a cone. So now the ball is in contact with cone only at one point. Only at one point. Now can you see what has happened? The ball will have only 3 rotary motions possible and no translational motion is possible, because the moment it performs any motion along x-axis, along y-axis, along z-axis, the contact will break. So only 3 rotations and no translation. Degree of freedom is equal to 3. There can be, as I said, some other examples are also there. Maybe you can find out and write down one more example of each of them, just out of interest. DOF is 3. DOF is 2 now. Cylindrical pair, you know, earlier we had drawn. Earlier we had drawn a cylindrical pair which can perform rotary motion and which can also perform translational motion. This figure we had drawn earlier, cylindrical pair. D and theta both exist and they are independent. So this is an example of DOF 2. Maybe if I'll draw one more figure which is like I have drawn some kind of a mechanism. There are 5 links. There is a chain, it has got 5 links and one link is fixed. Now suppose we rotate link number 2 like this. That means link number 2 has come here. This is a new position of link number 2 dash. Link 2 has come here. Now if link 2 comes here, where will be the other 3 links? 3, 4 and 5. See, the 3 link can go here, 4 can be here and 5 can be here. Now link 2 being here only, can there be any other possibility of the rest of the links? This 5 can come here also, in which case 3 and 4 will be like this. That is also possible. So for one input there are 2 different outputs. This can also happen, this can also happen. So this also is a case of a DOF equal to 2. Then comes DOF equal to 1. Now I will show this DOF equal to 1 over here. So I draw the actual 4-bar mechanism having 4 links. One link is fixed, and in this case, suppose we impart rotation to link number 2 so that it will come somewhere here. Then the link number 3 will go here and 4 will come here. This is the only place where it will go, nowhere else. So for a specific motion of rotating motion of link number 2, 3 will come here and 4 will come here, only nowhere else. So nothing more than this will happen, only one solution, only one way, only one type of movement. So this is called as example of degree of freedom. There could be many, but this example we are taking because this is showing us that a 4-bar mechanism, the name of this is 4-bar mechanism. Now this particular statement, keep in mind very well, we are going to use this term again and again, 4-bar mechanism. 4-bar mechanism, there are 4 bars means 4 links, and out of that one link is fixed. That too also, the fixed link we are always going to number as 1. So 1, then 2, 3, 4. So this is called a 4-bar mechanism which has got degree of freedom 1, and because that it has got degree of freedom equal to 1, this mechanism is always useful, very very useful. That means out of all these different cases which we have learnt, a case with degree of freedom 1 is most likely or most commonly used, because in a mechanism we want always a specific thing to take place. We don't want 2 different things to take place like here. So when you give input, sometimes this will happen, sometimes this will happen, it will be of no use. You want a specific thing to happen after you give specific input. So for a specific input you want a specific kind of output. That output should not vary, because if it varies then there is no guarantee in what you want to